Who's a rock star? I am. Welcome to another Miss Jenny's ReVideo, where I, Miss Jenny, recommend something for your viewing pleasure. And today is a very special day. If you haven't guessed, it's Josie and the Pussycats Day. This movie came out 20 years ago. 20 years ago. 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And most would say it was ahead of its time. This movie delves deep into comedy, the music industry, as well as consumerism. It is very witty. It is smart, funny, hilarious. The cast is phenomenal, and you will hear me talk yet again about my love for Alan Cumming. So strap in, let's talk about this amazing movie, Josie and the Pussycats. Josie and the Pussycats started out as a comic strip, the same people who did the Archie comics, and now I am being told that they are secondary characters on the show Riverdale, which is interesting because when this movie first came out, the darker tones of the movie, and more adult content made the original creators not promote this movie as hard because they didn't approve of the adult nature of some of the jokes, which to me is insane because I hear Riverdale super dark. But whatever. This movie follows 3 chicks in a band who are amazing. The music in this movie is very of the time, very 2001, very early aughts, and it is this like female punk empowerment kind of feeling. And the voice of Josie is done by the lead singer of Letters to Cleo. Most people know Letters to Cleo because they all owned the soundtrack to 10 Things I Hate About You. I'm looking at you. You own it. It's the best. 3 girls, they're in a band. They want to become famous, but, you know, they're not. That's the movie. The movie opens with a boy band, a staple of the generation, named DURGER. And if you're looking at these boys going, hey, I think I know them from somewhere, you do. That's Seth Green, Donald Faison, some guy I never remember, but he was in Can't Hardly Wait. Actually, they all were. And Breckin Meyer, who I adore. They all were in Can't Hardly Wait. And half of them were in Clueless. This cast is excellent, and we just got started. So, the band is named DURGER, which is funny because it means of the day, and they are the boy band of the moment. They find a subliminal message on one of their tracks and tell their manager, played by Alan Cumming, the great, gorgeous Alan Cumming. And he's like, oh my God, I have no idea what that was. And immediately goes and kills them. Plane crash. All of this hilarity is happening where there's just product placement everywhere. And it doesn't even make sense. Like, the plane they're on is from Target, but also like there's Tide bottles just lining the walls. The absurdity is on purpose. It's because the entire movie is actually about how the music industry is using subliminal messages to brainwash young teens because they have disposable income and they could just buy everything. Oh, my cat ears are falling off. These cat ears are probably actually just as old as this movie. I have problems. So with Du Jour out of the way, Wyatt needs a new group to sell all the stuff through. So he stumbles upon Josie and the Pussycats literally in the road. He almost runs them over, offers them a contract straight out the gate, and he hasn't even heard any of their music, which, whatever, I guess. They don't really need to know. And luckily for him, they're actually very, 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 very good. But it didn't matter because all he wants to do is sell things through them. Because his boss, played by Parker Posey, by the way, is like demanding. She is crazy. This movie goes places. This movie goes places. The main arc of the movie is very much like there's a 3-piece band. One of them gets singled out to be the front person, and that tears the band apart, and they have to really go through something to realize like they were better together all along. It's kind of like nowadays, I guess, would be like that Gem and the Holograms movie. Don't watch that. But they use the same plot points in that movie that they do this movie. Which this movie did tons better. This movie is quotable, sing-alongable, wonderfulable. There's a grandiose fashion in this movie. There's lots of cat ears in this movie. There's a whole plot point where they have to sell these like headphone cat ears to everybody who's going to watch the big concert, so everybody hears the subliminal messaging at the same time and gets sucked into whatever the evil main baddies want you to think, which is a surprise at the end. When you hear the subliminal messaging, you're gonna, if you're of an age, I should say, if you're of an age, you will go, I know this voice. I know this voice. Why do I know this voice? And it's Mr. Movie Phone. Do you remember Mr. Movie Phone? Once upon a time, back in the olden days, we had to call a phone line that had someone telling us what times the movies were. We couldn't just look it up on the internet. Back before we all had cell phones and smartphones and all of this stuff, Mr. Movie Phone was a go-to for us to find out what was playing in the cinema. Look how far we have come. The 3 main girls in this movie are Rosario Dawson, Rachel Lee Cook, and Tara Reid. Their chemistry together is fan-flippin-tastic. Their comedic timing is spot on, and when it needs to be serious, they know how to make you feel things. I would be lying if I didn't say I wanted to be them when I grew up. And I like to say when I grew up, but really I saw this movie when I was 16, so I was already almost degroned. It's one of those iconic times where a movie has shaped me for the better. So because this is the 20th anniversary, I implore you, please go watch this film. It is amazing, and if it doesn't change your life for the better, then you might not have a heart or taste or understand that it knows what it's doing. It's not a film that is supposed to be taken completely serious. It knows that it has product placement everywhere. It knows that it's in your face. And that's the point of the movie. For those of you wondering, I don't own Josie and the Pussycats by itself on DVD. I own it on this Girls Rule movie marathon disc that has Josie and the Pussycats, Honey, Blue Crush, the perfect man and head over heels. I'm not sure exactly, besides like the time and feeling, why these movies were put together. I don't know, but I'm glad I own it. I would own just Josie and the Pussycats if they came out with like a super special edition. I want to see every behind the scenes, anything about this movie. I am all for it. If you don't watch this movie and just want to take a little like moment to take a peek in, please look up the music video for 3 Small Words by Josie and the Pussycats, or the music video of DURGER's Backdoor Lover, because they are coming up from behind with the lights down low. I've been Miss Jenny. This has been another ReVideo where I recommend something for your viewing pleasure. Have a nice day. I will see you next week. Bye.